All right, I think that we are good to go. People are just starting to, the trickle is slowing, I think.
Cool. Cool, let's get started. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to Season 5, Episode 1, the first reading in Peach Mag's 5th year of publishing. My name is Rochelle Tormino. I'm the editor-in-chief of Peach Mag, and I'm your host for this evening. Tonight is our second ever virtual episode, which means we get to hear from 5 Peach Mag contributors and friends who didn't have to travel all the way to Buffalo to read for us. Aeon Ginsberg in Baltimore, Youngseo Lee in Virginia, Manda in New York, Fullamusu, Bangura in Chicago, and Richard Chiem in Seattle. If you like what you hear, we'll be dropping links to their socials, websites, and places to find more of their work in the chat during their readings. I'm going to share my screen for just a second. Can everybody see that? Cool. If you're new to Peach, please check out the incredible work at our website. We've got poems, we've got stories, we've got creative essays, visual art features, and we've got archives from all of our previous seasons, as well as the most current one, which is Season 5. And if you want to dive even further into the work by our contributors, I'm also excited to share that we've been hard at work putting together a bookshop page where you can find books by our contributors, including those who have read at previous episodes, those who have contributed to our new column, Favorite Books, and those by the volunteers who bring you all of Peach Mag's programming. Back to tonight. While I can't promise there won't be tricks, there will most definitely be treats. After the readings, we're going to be doing some raffles and contests. If you'd like to enter the raffle, please fill out the form that is about to be dropped in the chat between now and the end of the readings. As for the contest, there will be 2. The first one is the costume contest, and the second one is the background contest. 4 guests will be going home with prizes, and we'll be doing the judging for that at the end of the event. If you dressed up or changed your background, if you did not dress up or change your background, you still have time to join us, at least for the Zoom background contest, in which you can change your background to something haunted. Please remember to interpret haunted as creatively as you'd like. Until the contest, we're keeping all of you on mute. If you want to react to our readers or subtly say hi to another guest, please feel free to pop off in the chat. We encourage it. And finally, tonight we are maintaining a policy of no hatefulness in the chat. We reserve the right to bounce you if we find your comments bigoted or mean-spirited in any way. And now I'm excited to introduce our first reader. Aeon Ginsberg is a writer and performer from Baltimore City, Maryland. They are the author of Greyhound, the 2019 winner of the Noemi Press Poetry Prize, and their work has been published in journals all over. Aeon is a Taurus, a bartender, and a bitch. Welcome, Aeon.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm going to read a bit from this book, and if there's time, then maybe I'll read more from something else. Who knows? I tell another trans person I feel most in my skin in Greyhound bus terminals. Neither of us talks about what it means to only be seen in a liminal way, to only be seen when we are in movement between 2 points. Let's talk about what liminal means. Place without a name, a home but not a door, a bird's nest, a bird, a feather. When I mention liminal, I'm speaking in a place without time per se. It also has reference to being both in and out of a boundary, which is a gender too. Sorry, I dropped out twice, so that means I don't need to actually know definitions. I went to college and learned I was a dumb bitch, so I left, which in turn solidified it. There's a layer of privilege here. When I die, they might debate what my true gender was, but no one will debate that I was in debt. I don't have to know how to define anything, but I'm a poet, so I get to anyways. Gender identity is the hallway in that book, House of Leaves, I guess. Like, yes, I have been in a closet, but also I am the closet. I tell another trans person about entering a Greyhound terminal and being called ma'am, and how cursed it is to be so aware of your nipples and how feminized they make you feel, and how in public you think this is a bad thing, but wish so much for its normalcy to stay. Shame is a chronic status for me. It says something that I am so scared of being seen that I feel gutted when I am. Once I told a partner that I wanted to take hormones. I left on a Greyhound bus, blinked, and then I was single. I have collectively spent over 100 hours on buses, and that's fine. I take selfies in the only single stall bathroom I ever feel safe in, and a bump in the road makes me stay inside another 3 minutes to get the perfect one. Okay, fuck it, I'm on one. For the purpose of being on one, I'm off the rails of myself. Loose cannon, a loose cannon. When I say I like traveling, I mean I like getaways. I like getting away, like, get away. Yes, I'm transitioning, but in a way that's cool and fun and not scary. That's a joke. It's scary to run away from my body because it's going to catch up before I know it. The more I am witnessed, the more I must be tangible, and therefore can be verifiably othered. And therefore, I can be timeless. I can be without time stamp. First I was, and then I repeated. Witness me so I can witness me. I can't escape your distrust of who I am, as well as my own faith that I am at all. Film me so I can go to you, so I can leave you. Film me so I can run from you. Do I have time for one more? Clutch. I don't know how to measure time because I'm a bitch. I'm gonna read.
You have plenty of time. You can read 2 more.
Oh, tight. I'm gonna read as much as I want then. I'm gonna take over the reading. I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read a piece. I have some work that's gonna be in an anthology that's getting published by Nightboat Books. We Want It All. Its pub day is soon. I don't know when, but pre-orders are live, and I'll put a link in the chat. So if you like my book, which you can also own, you can also get another book with a bunch of trans authors in it that are amazing. And this is a piece called Against Queering the Map. Queering the Map is a community-generated mapping project that geolocates queer moments, memories, and histories in relation to physical space. It feels like we're making it too easy for them this way. Watch a supremacist use joy like a blade. Use a blade like a blade. Queering the map. They won't let us donate our blood, but they'll let us spill it into the concrete. There's a bathroom in Taos with boot print meant for my face. There's a customs bench on every border making ghosts of our bodies. How am I at fault for not wanting to make one bar a gay bar? I'm content to be queer and exist, and to me, the impermanence of my presence is enough. The straight girl thinks it isn't gay when we kiss, and I disappear into my own mouth. Ping the air quality during a smog. This is what fills my organs as I eraser myself. The map is not clean. Operation Soap was put on by the Toronto police in the 80s. They raided gay bathhouses and arrested roughly 300 individuals. I don't fault the gays wanting to cruise and get cleansed. I fault the map. The way things are going, the queers are going to be the last haven against the police state, unless the queers give away the map to the police state. The way things are going, we'll have no place to hide if the map is accessible. They won't let trans folk enlist, but they're okay forcing us into prisons for trying to exist. Maybe we can make it gay for the month. Being alive, that is. Or the map that holds us. Let's install closets in every corner. Maybe while we are here, it will be what we need it to be. And after, well, it could stay that way. The government ghosted my name away from me. Not even a tombstone will know how to speak it. The way it sits sounds like nothing and smog. It feels like we're making it easy to disappear a community with the internet, upload our territories to the cloud, and let it rain hate upon us. There's nothing I can do about the gay clubs closing but let them, and meet again in secret. What's the hanky code for "I want to destroy the government before I hear it say my name"? I want a new American pestilence, bio-organized death dirge. The four horses of new apocalypto are the queers, the trans, the furries, and the elders who lived long enough to see how to undie again and again. It feels like the map is an excuse to have hope in a world where we can't even afford food. It feels like we're in the maze and no one has seen cheese for decades. The queered map I want to see has a minotaur at the center. The queered map leads you into the arms of a gorgon. A man escapes the eruption of Vesuvius in Pompeii, but is crushed to death by a rock anyways. That's queer history for me. Always ready to throw rocks, even when we're dying. Even when the world ignites our skin and says, "This is how you keep warm." Thanks. Yeah, I'll do a little more. I'm gonna do a little more from the book, and then I'm gonna stop talking. And I'm excited to be able to read with Peach finally. It's a pleasure to be a part of their poetry editorial team. It's more than an honor to be able to read with everyone tonight. Yeah, just generally chuffed over here. Chuffed. After this piece, if you like it, or if you don't, just let me know what your favorite thing about dogs are in the chat. So I still want to know. Once there was a dog, and it was so good at running and finding and getting by and being in motion that there was a bus by the same name. A shitty bus, but capable. I used to ask people what their favorite things about dogs were. Dogs just go. A dog can break its leg and keep moving forward and think, well, this is life now. A dog with a broken leg lurching forward. A bus driving down a highway with its cargo doors open. Thanks. Bye.
And I just realized I forgot to ask you, what was your biggest fear when you were a kid?
My biggest fear when I was a kid, which I thought about recently because I was trying to remember why I don't like scary movies, is I was terrified by the film Ernest Saves Halloween, which I think is not actually titled that, but I just remember having nightmares about that film.
Oof.
Men.
Amazing. When I was a kid, I watched, what is it, that one, Nutty Professor? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The scene where he like gets really big in his dream, I think. I had nightmares about that for like years.
You don't want to get big.
Don't want.
Like the Nutty Professor.
Moving on. Thank you, Anne. That was amazing. Obviously, we love you. Next up, we have Youngseo Lee. Youngseo is 18, taking a gap year and just vibing. She is newly based in Virginia, though she is from Seoul and Arizona. A 2020 National Young Arts finalist in creative nonfiction and cat lady with no cats of her own. She has work that has appeared or is forthcoming in Entropy, Emory Lowwater Review, Hominum Journal, and more. Welcome, Youngseo.
Hello, can you hear me? All right, awesome. Do I get a haunted question at the end or the beginning?
Ooh, let's do it at the end. Give me some time
Okay, all right.
before you read, and then maybe it'll inform what kind of question I want to ask.
All right, awesome. So this first poem I'm gonna read is gonna be in Peach in November, and it's like in the format of an interview. It's inspired by like an interview that my classmate made with all our other classmates, and it is called "Give Me Love for My Class of 2020." What's your name? The manic pixie dream sidekick is every orbit of a cliche. In the cross-section of moonbeam and palm is a mourned punk tire instead of love, hence the self-failed kick of a miracle looping itself in spider rope. Look, Once materialized, I'm fleetingly pellucid and bearingly gone. Give me love, give me rocking chair soul and rope burn of choice. To stay, to enter, I've chewed my thumb raw into licorice waiting for crystallization. And how long have you been here? Gone, now. Miracles bestowed upon calculators chafe for desublimation. Friction is what is lost. When I'm gone, have I been here? I've lived for myself and bitten cheek watching grace, leap, descent, fall, hurl, sinkage, arms stretching from cliches pits. We've dropped too many stars to orbit, and yet, and how have you liked it? Imagine I am not only merely like a spaceship, but am one scorching, and we are so close to gratitude. Exit velocity at our irreplaceable us, chalk dust stewing in our lungs, and gravity universal. Watch miracle blink into another cliche. Finally, I cough heat when we plummet. You say, isn't it a miracle we've been brought together? Isn't it a miracle we've tolerated each other? Isn't it a miracle we've managed to resemble love? Isn't it a miracle how when you say it out loud, you sound like every other, like we haven't given up together? However, liked it? Like letting go would burn the fall. Okay, this next one is a love poem that I wrote when I was 16, so maybe a little embarrassing, but yeah. Mother, believe me, he kisses my brain. We grow Hermann Hesse on the front porch mingled with the orchids and Simone de Beauvoir and poison ivy, and in the fall we will plant ourselves too. That he combs through my vocal cords. I paint twigs on my thighs and gypsophila on its back. He plants his feet in the garden and I hydrangea in my room. Come winter, I will birth a happy bouquet with sad petals. That he hugs the blood vessel leaving my heart. He cuffs the soles of dandelions with palms that I place on my eye to feel the thudding of his life. These are the hands with which he plants our life side by side beside the aspen. That his palm, my eye, my soul, his heart, the garden, crops of thought. I know for every second with my whole wobbly existence that is enough. We plant plants, we plant lives, mine next to his. He exists and I breathe, and that is enough. Okay, that is more embarrassing than I thought it would be. So now I'm gonna read an anti-love poem. This is called Bride. I cage myself in with you, and then I start to die. I untangle the petals strewn in my hair from the grease and the roots. The flowers lost their roots, they lost their roots and their thorns. No thorns, only petals they wove in my hair, only ripped and split and torn. Mother sewed petals onto infant cheeks and taught me to paint them blue. She said, sit in the sun until you're baked the glorious yellow of E7C70E, but now I'm just pink. I throw the white dress outside our little cage, toss the petals. I tell them to fly, but they can't, so I cry, and you help me pick more out from her pink with cross-stitch to my spine. I turn into a flower myself and tell the leaves I'm here forever. I believe the helium that boy sucked itself was my sister. Helium whispered through the staticky cracks and the crevices of electricity, scratching against the walls of the ear canal. You can be yellow, you can be yellow. Here's a petal for your ear, here's one for your rib. Look at that pretty cage, look at that pretty cage, look at that pretty cage. Won't you be happy? So I said, yes, that is quite pretty. I would love to be loved and believe I am not a faded DAD 287 like mother, though he once smiled a D9C96F. Okay, I thought I wasn't nervous, but I guess I am, and I'm sorry to the captioner if I'm talking too fast. But okay, this last one is something that like I forgot that I wrote, but I actually really like it. It's called Translation of Hi, How Are You? It's been a while since we last talked. Remember the flower kimchi you made? You pointed out a patch of dirt next to apartment 224 and its 30-story graystone glory, dirt no wetter or browner than any other bunch. Said you buried your kimchi there to ferment, behind the workout area where a single-digit body spilled over into from the playground. You know, My Oma didn't let me run in the fountain sprouting from the playground tiles after the first year because she learned that the water beneath was static all year till summer, gross, mosquito egg laden. And the red metal arch structure with rungs that I was too scared to climb to the top of. Did you know that's a sculpture? A girl fell off of it and broke her arm in 4th or 5th grade. That's probably after you left. Each year, one of us left for a different corner of the city till I was the only one left playing Mickey Mouse. I don't remember what that game was, but I played it with other kids if we weren't sharing a dish of tteokbokki among 3 people, running with hot odeng broth brimming the paper cups in our seared hands, or picking tiny water snails from the artificial streams tucked in the flank of our home apartment complex, away from the 6-lane roads and the city hall and Seoul itself. Around the time you left and saw your amma stop feeding me blueberry smoothies and Costco pasta, I stopped making fake food too. I just grew out of pulling chapchuk petals and whatever those long glossy leaves are, mashing them with chair contraptions meant for glute strength and shredding them with rocks. I imagine my specialty salad and your kimchi would seem the same to the untrained eye without a 1st grade chef's expertise. Were you there that day in 1st grade, pouring water into the sandy rectangle of a school field and darkening the ground with me? A kid from another class called us childish and we were angry, so I said I wanted to kill her because I thought that's what angry people say. My Amma told me that in America, people go to prison just for saying they want to kill somebody. I live in America now, and I'm pretty sure plots or threats of murder land you in prison everywhere. I live in the suburbs, the desert, and there's plenty of sand and dust, but never a good patch of plant growth dirt, the kind that drinks the water you feed it, the type you can unearth and place a pot of real kimchi to ferment, or a bunch of flower petals to rot. It's not like I particularly want to garden or see dirt. I have a backyard I go out to twice a year. It's not like I wish 11 years later now that we could dig up your fake kimchi to marvel at the wonders of childhood and imagination, but tell me, is my city doing well? When you're done with college entrance exams, I'll let you know if I'm in town. Let's go see if the same cherry blossoms and churchuk line the sidewalks in the apartment complex we all left. If the fountains still work in the playground that none of us are left in. I want to see if everything's fermented the way we left it. All right, that's it.
That was so good. And for the record, could not tell at all that you were nervous. You were
My heart was like beating very hard. Yeah.
I feel like that's the great thing about Zoom. Like it just like does not translate at all.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Youngseo, I have a question for you. I have a spooky Halloween question for you. Do you believe in ghosts? Follow-up question. If you do, have you ever had an experience with one?
Oh my gosh. I actually wrote about that. That is the first published piece that I have. So it's like, okay, it's weird because I became Catholic when I was 9, and then I like sort of like stopped being Catholic around like 16, but I like sort of am Catholic. But I believe in like some Korean mythology, shamanism stuff, but not like astrology. So like sort of is my answer. And I actually went to writing camp in Iowa after 10th grade. And for some reason, my workshop had a seance at the end of our 2 weeks. So we just turned off all the lights and we like sat there with like a water bottle. And I was convinced that my dead grandma, who's been dead for like 30 years, was there. Like at first we were like, there was no ghost. And then like 2 days later, I was like, my grandma was there. And then my dad was like, no, she wasn't. And I wrote about that, and you can find the link on my website. But yeah, it's not like a full website. It's somewhere in the chat. But that is my answer.
Yikes. I believe you. I believe she was there. I want to believe.
Yeah, my dad doesn't believe it, so like I don't know how to feel about it.
Maybe he's just not in touch.
Yeah, maybe.
Youngseo, thank you so much for that reading. Wonderful to have you. And we're so excited for your feature in November. You'll be the November Seeds feature. Everyone should really look out for that. Next up, we have Meher Manda. Meher is a poet, short story writer, journalist, and educator originally from Mumbai, India, currently based in New York City. She earned her MFA in fiction from the College of New Rochelle, where she was the founding editor-in-chief of the Canopy Review. She's the author of the chapbook Busted Models, which will be one of the prizes today, which is out through No Deer / Small Anchor from last year. And her work has been published or is forthcoming in Peach Mag, Catapult, Epiphany, Hobart, Sporklet, Cosmonauts Avenue, and elsewhere. She was a fellow of the Radical Poetry Consortium at DreamYard and has been nominated for Best New Poets 2020 and Best of the Net Anthology 2020. Welcome, Meher.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me to this little shindig. I'm very excited to be here. Rachel insisted that I read at least an excerpt from my essay that was published on Peach Magazine. So I'm gonna do that, but I don't read prose very often, so if I suck, forgive me. This is on anger and becoming my father's daughter, just exploring what it means to inherit anger as a woman from one's father and just all the gendered connotations of that. So I'm going to read a short excerpt. If the transactional study of our gender-coded world suggests that young girls take after their mothers, as young boys after their fathers, then I certainly missed the memo. What strange formula of events led me to embody my father's behavior is currently unknown, but I wanted to be him in every way. I wanted to wear his clothes, walk the world with his cocky assuredness, be just as generously honest at work and relationships, and have a clear moral compass. The anger came with the arrangement. My mother and her mother, in an effort to contain my anger, often fueled it. By critiquing my walk and talk, my general boorishness with the world, the way my body had chosen its sharp edges and muscular stubbornness, my mother left me willing to embody my newly inherited anger. The thing about taking after a parent whom the world treats differently from you is that you become an unusual animal. I had begun to live and expect with the entitlement of a man in the forgetful body of a woman, in what is essentially a man's world. No matter how hard I tried, I could never fit in. My anger, when not childish, was an affront to the regulations of social upkeep. I was a misdemeanor waiting to be corrected, a cloth that had slipped off the clothesline made dirty. The world never sought to understand how I, a woman in a non-traditional body, hailing from a country that attacked its women with such impunity, could ever be mad. All of my emotion was colored by the tinge of unpredictability, no matter how justified its reasoning seemed to me. Womanhood, as my mother tried to teach me, was a performance of subtlety, passivity, and consideration. I failed the test. I failed my mother and the women who mothered me with her. I stuck out of their petaled gentleness like a danger signal. I had become so completely my father's daughter that I could never belong to my mother. The violence that passed between us bound us to a school of thought that hurt us both, but also held us together as a unit. I was drawn into his image. Each time he hit me, I looked, walked, sat, and spoke more like him. This isn't to say his anger toward me was productive, but it is to say that I took his violence and channeled for myself a freedom the world wasn't prepared to give me. Channeling my father's anger means I'm heard before I'm listened to. It's a wave of sensation that strikes me down, forces all my logical thinking and patience into a gridlock. It means that in anger, I feel my fingers tingle for a hit and my feet yearning to walk out or worse, clamp down. It means my nerves tighten, my speech loses its footing, my body heats up, and my back muscles ache with anticipation. It means pain and discomfort, fear and trepidation, disappointment and betrayal. Cowering under his rage also means that I'm so fearful of authority that I redirect all my anger at them toward myself. I punch walls with my knuckles, sweep objects off of writing desks, hurl my robust, handy phone at the floor, shake furiously, rouge up with shame. I sob easily because this is a world that cannot hold my discontentment with seriousness, and few people care for the way my anger consumes me whole. For every time my father has strut across this world holding his anger close, I have shrunk into the earth. wrapped in fistfuls of rage. The world never held space for my anger, so I had to unknot my nerves on my own dime. As a survivor of domestic rage, it was up to me to separate righteous anger from frenzy, political discontentment, from personal disagreement. I knew intimately how my body tensed up at the anticipation of violence, and I wanted a world where I didn't need that familiarity. So instead of taking my rage and becoming another barbaric iteration, I chose to become very fucking angry about the state of it all. The lines are clearer now. Anger at the state, for the female body, for the bodies rendered meaningless and invisible by institutional constructs, against injustice, unequal consumption, communal apathy, at disregarded public service, for my mothers, sisters, friends, and lovers, and the way their selves are left unseen, at being undervalued, disrespected, misrepresented, at the indifference to public anger, good. Everything but toxic. Would I have tasted the metal of anger spooling on my tongue had I not spent every minute modeling myself after my father, a man who could strike with limbs and words alike? Would I have known confrontation if I hadn't looked my father in the eye and dared him to hit me again the last time he hit me? Would I have been as sensitive to state violence rearing its ugly head had I not understood that all violence is an act of establishing power? Would I have taken my anger and built small movements around it, passionately advocating for a world I can love if I had not had brimfuls of it? Would I have learned to treat our systems with impertinence had I not seen my father do so unashamedly? That is not for me to answer. All I know is that I took my rage and produced whole works of art from it. I forged relationships and communities and allowed myself to be moved by political rebellion. I sought and embraced everything my father could not as he channeled his anger after the father before him. That I took both our childhood damage and validated it with intention. I still cry when I'm angry. I shut myself in restrooms and wait for my face to stop burning. I bite my tongue when my voice is not required. I use it loudly when it can move people, just like my father taught me. Because my father is a man who grew up in a world that held his anger, he never thought to cry, to expunge himself of emotion. Because the world was incapable of holding his sadness, he never learned to speak its tongue. Whereas happiness could be a loud-mouthed laugh and his anger full-bodied, his grief had no place to call home. So when my father wept, bent over himself at the terminal gate of my departure from home, I saw him finally succumb to an unrelenting tantrum. I knew then that anger didn't drain so much as it overpowered. It took so much muscle, memory, and impulse that it left very little spirit for a good cry. I think of how easily crying comes to me on my angriest days, how generously it relieves me of all the baggage I take on from this world. How it has never been this easy for my father. I look at him, think less of the unpleasant years, and wish him the kindness of a good cry. May it come to him at an unexpected moment when he needs it the most. Thank you. I'm gonna read a poem that just got published yesterday. It's the titular poem from my manuscript. It's a little long. Do I have the time to do that? So this, I have a poetry manuscript that's ready, I think. I haven't edited it in a hot minute, so I'm hoping it's ready. And it's called Some of Many Women, and this is the titular poem. It's also the opening poem of the manuscript. This is Some of Many Women. Before I glided into an us, I lived still outside of this body, where I, this writer, watched the shock of pink splattered on a summer evening, the small men with big bellies, the line queued outside the ration store and cars flying past without honking, the wicked games children play in their brevity, unmoving like sacred, quiet like solitude, alone like friendless, and separated because this body was still strange, alien-like, godliness watching the first leg erupt from a small cell, or however all this came to be. Us was only you and I. You like mother, like salve, heat, sweat, and touch, like arms pulling my frailing length from drowning in a flooded gutter, like a long, well-oiled braid of hair that taught me what hair is, like color that asked for color, like hunger that feeds a meal, like eyes loud and gluttonous boring into mine. I learned to mark you, freshly condensed in your juices, watching me. I learned topography with my fingers running along your varicose veins. I draw portraits where each body is a version of your body and thus a future for my body. I sing songs in a lilt betraying my true intention. I learn to hold a note just to be heard. I cradle your stomach in my arms, paste my ears to its rupture, and listen to the world unveil itself with clarity. The sparrow's song is chirpier, the tree composes a tune to the rustling wind, the ground rumbling and attentive, the sky imminent and watchful, and the planets revolve to the same music as the maracas from songs you love, cha-ching, cha-ching in space. You point out the others, the young girl who watches her mother whiten, the aunt who stretches the seams of her sari with bony fingers, the fish lady who sits outside, there, under the crisp blue of bright summer with eyes beating out, not hers, but of the fish, the loose end of her skirt drying up hot sun, the very round woman in the local train who unpeels green peas that land in a tiny steel box like jewelry, the ticket collector who side-eyes women in the first-class compartment with her thick, round glasses, the young woman who leans dangerously outside the open vehicle with relentless long air, the child who pees shamelessly on the side of the road, the old grandma who smiles with her gap-toothed mouth split open, and the other mothers of your choosing. You learn to love it all, the women, their bedtime folk tales, how the Lord's Prayer lands on your tongue like a kiss and culls out of your racing heart a shrine. The world shatters into me like a conundrum, teaches me big words, and how to weep not from hunger and separation but in despair, how to swallow sadness for a meal and lodge it in the back of the throat, how to come out of violence splintered but pieced together with glue, the tears and cracks showing, how to sing along to the rhythm of the guitar, songs about love, sex, and politics. Sweetheart, I sing, show me more. Show me space turned pink from ecstasy, a woman lunging at the sky for a blanket, a boy liquefying into puddles, and better kisses. Show me kisses better than the Lord's Prayer. Show me how to move my hands, I cry, and where to place them. Show me how to read. There, in the music, I spot the others. The infamous sylph who spreads into conversations like a dirty secret. The mothers who named and shamed their growing bodies, the drowning women, the women who learned to swim, the women who began breathing underwater, grew gills and tails and everything, the women who began to live with children in tow in sunken ships, the women who cruised a vessel and manned a sail, the women stitched up with bunted bodies and fistful hearts, the women with hennaed hair, women with funky vaginas and saggy breasts and rolls of fat protecting their bodies, the fallen women, and the women who kneel willingly, staggering forward with bruised knees. I love them too, much to your horror. I revolt, dig at my itchy scabs, watch them ooze blood, embrace the chemical, frown down its acrid taste, and suspend like a question mark from your favorite tree. Your eyes convolute with disgust, your hands lunge at me like an animal, take my elbow and wring it like a wet cloth, hope for it to drain, among other things, this world. I return, bent and unchanged. The truth, I am my mother's daughter and I take to love fiercely. What do I know of sacredness and its obstinate rules when there's so much to touch outside its hold? I stockpile for the records. Collect us under the canopy of the oldest tree and decree us a country. Scratch our surface, its peculiarity under my nails for DNA. Become a pallbearer for the dead and a poet for the willing. Be daughtered, mothered, sistered, and loved into a collective. Us, like land tearing itself from the violence of the whole continent, like water assembling into war, like a votive offering, like the chorus of a song. I, this writer, and you, mother, torn from fealty. You hadn't imagined that I could mother myself simply with attention. When I leave you all. Pull myself from earth like smoke airing the clouds, choke in its poison. In Urdu, the word hijr is both a separation from beloved and a desertion from country. When I leave you, I am both alone and homeless. Like a split clause, I carry this body like an ellipsis. When the man at the departure terminal tells me, "You look like someone I know," I say, "But of course I do. There can't possibly be just one of me." Thank you.
So good. Attention, small press publishers or big press publishers. Who knows who's in the audience tonight? Yeah, that was great. Meher, I have one question for you. What is haunting you these days?
My mental health. I mean, is that a like? I feel like I would like to be rid of that little thing called mental health issues, but I've been told it's easier said than done. So
I've heard that too. Weird.
I'm waiting for science to back that up, but you know, for now I'm going with the populist sentiment.
Cool. Yeah, we'll be in touch if like maybe either of us figures out. Yeah.
Group chat.
So Meher, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep it going. Next up, we have Fullamusu Bangura. Fullamusu is a writer originally from Washington, D.C. and currently residing in Chicago, Illinois. Her work has been published in New Delta Review, Apogee Journal, and Cosmonauts Avenue. She's currently working on her first book about Lil' Kim's hardcore album. Welcome, Fullamusu.
Hello, DC in the house. What up? Chicago in the house. I'm really excited to be here. I love Peach Max so much. I think Peach gave me like, oh my God, Jacob, there's a ghost behind you. I don't know if you know this, but something is lurking behind you. I love Peach. Peach, I think, gave me my second publication, so I'm excited to be here. I have a few poems. My poems are pretty short, so I'll just keep reading until my time is done. My first poem is about one of my favorite places in the world, which is Magic City, the strip club in Atlanta. I love it so much. I was just in Atlanta a few days ago, but there's a pandemic, so I couldn't enjoy Magic City, but I'm gonna read this poem anyway, because I love it. Magic City Hymn. There's a body on both sides of the glitter, and a face resembling mine in the glisten. God forgot to make it rain on the 6th day, and so I stepped in, fingers on paper and palm, my wallet a written Bible, versed in the blessings of flesh. Glory be to God and the strippers that make her. Every Friday, a body and soul ascension. Can't decide if it's saint or sinner's night. Either way, we rolling deep with the choir boys. Blessed be the mid-split Amazon with legs spread wide towards the heavens. Blessed be the symphony of dollar bills, most deserved offering, mine from the mass, me in prayer at the heels of prophets and the mountain of men who fear them. That's my first poem. My second poem is about Celine Dion, who is my queen. I love her so much. She is Jamaican, according to everyone on the internet. And it sounds exciting, but it's actually a pretty sad poem, but I'll just read it. This poem is called The Day the Celine Dion Tickets Dropped. The day the Celine Dion tickets dropped, I told my mom I wouldn't beg her into loving me again. Stuffed myself with $50 worth of Southern cuisine in a Blacksonian cafe and prayed for good seats on free Wi-Fi. My mom compared being gay in the Quran to forgetting the pages of a good novel. You don't know what page you saw it on, but it's in there somewhere. I stepped into a loud music exhibit and dreamed myself in crushed velvet cape. A great aluminum mothership hovers above my head, George Clinton calling me home. It's only March and I've already tragically humiliated my mother by being something other than straight and perfect. My flaws worn on me like thrifted leather. Ask myself how my mother can love the sparkled backwards pantsuit, but not the glitter itself. Would Celine still be Celine if not for the queens, mouthing her lyrics over runny eggs and cocktails? Could my mother stomach the girls with their hands to the stage towards some Canadian god? My friend asked me if after all of this, I am still fasting for Ramadan, as if the Saudi moon is not the most constant body in my life now, as if believing in something other than me, breaking through the dark, today, every day, is not my only way out. Oh, I forgot to mention, I wanted to mention that it's Scorpio season. I'm a Scorpio, so all my poems are giving like Scorpio vibes. That's the vibe I was going for today. So this next poem is called "Your Boyfriend Wants to Sleep with Me." Your boyfriend wants to sleep with me, and I'm sad he won't break up with you to live between my legs. My kink is quarantining insecurity and flirting outside the door. My relationship to men is prone. My relationship to men is cozy on the other side of a breakdown, is moonlight and sleep paralysis. Sometimes I try to shake them from my head, tip one side over and hope they slide from ear to linoleum. At night, their hands creep around my neck, fingers as vines. Men know me in places my mother warned I leave untouched. Use my body for batting practice. Hit empty home runs on Friday. Tongue their girls Monday. Keep one hand in the pot. Never once asked them to pour honey onto me, yet here I am, stuck in my own syrup. All right, so these last two poems are gonna be published by Peach in December, which I'm really excited about. I love them a whole lot. They're probably some of my favorite poems that I've written recently, so I'm excited that they have a really great home to be in. So this poem is called White Tooth. It's a shape poem, so it's in the shape of a white tooth comb. White Tooth. I am still learning how to get all the kinks out. I give myself grace. These tools, placed in my hands only just yesterday, how sometimes they slip when I tend to the crops. Handmade rows I crafted, tiny equators of earth I mapped out. Today, I learned myself a planet again. Tonight, I plant my knees into the ground and commit body. Untangle my vines. My mother's tool of choice bore more teeth. Cut me. Instead, I'll choose the comb with more breathing room. Breath of more lung. My northern star. I leave home for therapy, pull my roots apart, and still grieving weeds. And when I say I am kinky, I mean I am still learning all the ways my knots create each other. When my hairstylist tells me to cut the split ends now, I obey. She uses a car metaphor I can't really remember, but it sticks. I claim the skies for my stalks of flowers, raise them, find a root to cling to and deem it lucky. My faith is a seed. Okay, so my last poem is about the GOAT, Missy V. Elliott. I love her so much. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I have lips like Missy Elliott, big and pinched, permanently puckered, like freshly sucked lemon, pouty, lips puffed wide open. I swallow oceans. Men see big lips and call me freaky. I open my mouth to curse them only. I open my mouth to take them in wholly. Missy tells me ain't no shame, and I work towards believing her. I am swimming up to my brows in hot boys. Poke my lips at them, then ignore them. I am the prettiest when I pass the Dutch smoke past my teeth. lick shots and dodge them for my sanity. My lips, an unfinished paint job abandoned, daring in gloss, begging you to call out their imperfection. Like my lips, all my faves are problematic. Both of us bitches, black as ever, bent beyond breaking point. Both of us bitches, someplace but here. Thank you.
That was so good. I can't wait for those poems to go up. Those of you who are going to be keeping an eye out, that's, I think, December, early December.
13th or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. Jacob will drop it. That's Jacob's job. But mid-December, early December, something like that. Those poems are so good, especially the form of the first one. Wait till y'all see it. It's great. Fullamusu, what would you be doing tonight? Spooky Halloween question. What would you be doing tonight if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic?
Oh my God. Tonight is the 29th.
Halloween.
Okay, for Halloween, I would be out at Beauty Bar, which is like my favorite, I don't know, themed bar in Chicago. It's really cute. It's like a beauty salon. You can get your nails done there. It's hella cute, but it's also really cute because they play like throwback music all the time. So it's like 90s vibes and a lot of fun, and it's a lot of dancing. So I would probably be there dressed as, I don't know, a hippie or Megan Thee Stallion or something if I was not at home. But I'm glad that I get to spend it here with my virtual friends at this poetry reading.
That's amazing. I'm also glad we're all here tonight, but I want to be living in that alternate reality too. Great, thank you so much, Fullamusu. Next up, last but not least, is Richard Chiem. Richard is the author of You Private Person, which came out with Sorry House Classics in 2017, and the novel King of Joy, which came out with Soft Skull Press in 2019, which was longlisted for the 2020 Penn Open Book Award. He was named a 2019 Writer to Watch by the Los Angeles Times. He has taught at Hugo House, Catapult, and the University of Washington, Bothell. He lives in Seattle. Welcome, Richard.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you so much to Rochelle, to Jacob, to our wonderful captioner, everyone at Peach Mag. I fucking love Peach Mag. Please check them out. I've admired them for a really long time. And thank you so much for everyone for being here. I'm so honored to read with all the other readers. All y'all were fucking amazing. Thank you so much. I'm gonna be reading a short story I had published in 2018 called Vile as I Am. If you'd like to read it, it was published on the Nervous Breakdown. A quick shout out to the editor, Joseph Grantham. But yeah, I'll get right into it. This is called, and I won't read the whole thing, but this is called Vile as I Am. There are great fires that burned everything down, that everyone still talks about, at all the ruined, remaining coffee shops. It's all everyone still talks about. There are no more wild animals in the world. No more wild animals roaming the earth. And purebred dogs are more celebrated than God now. Every day I see there's proof that things fall apart. Buildings are ruins, and the ruins are buildings. The air is less like air. There are fewer trees around, and it's hard to breathe sometimes. My wife wakes up at 4 in the morning to pray, and she does so staring at the stained glass hallway window. And because I can't sleep anymore, I have insomnia. I like to wake up with her, sit at the side of the cold bed, and watch her pray through the doorway. I smoke a cigarette and turn on our little box fan. I can hear her whispering to God in a sweet a cappella that I try to mouth along to. But I never bother her until she's finished. She prays for 7 hours. I don't believe in her God anymore. She slips off her pants and walks back into the bedroom with her eyes closed. She walks where the wooden floorboards doesn't creak, arching her feet like a tightrope walker. Sunlight shines through the cracks in the blinds and it casts her shadow against the wall. I know one of her favorite things is shadows. I know she loves watching the subtle twin shadows in a room, peeking at a secret dimension at play underneath it all. The look in her eye is cutting, unblinking, and focused. And it's as though she's watching an avalanche of blossoms approaching from behind me. She wants to fuck and have a baby. We have been trying and trying for months now. And with every failed attempt, something dies. Something crumbles a little. It's not just happening ours, but in nearly every other household. A documentary plays on the television in the background. The television is like a fireplace. The narrator on the TV says, forests cover 1/3 of all lands of the earth. Within them are half of all the animal species on the planet. But the documentary is decades old. All the David Attenborough animals are gone. No more old growth trees, no more great migrations, no more flocks, no more packs, no more murders, no more nouns of assemblage for any groups of creatures. They're all gone. I miss murders in particular. I miss seeing crows on telephone pole wires. I miss walking through a forest, and I miss seeing a forest coming into view. Although I like to make sure Emily reaches climax first, that's not the purpose today. It has not been the purpose for a few days. The point is to have a baby. A baby is a future we can believe in. A baby is something like a bright light guiding through a dank fog. Emily grabs my hair, and it's a beautiful, rare morning. We come together. Clouds gather, and there's a stillness close to joy. I call in sick to work. Emily says, I want to name the baby Charlotte. I tell her a little white lie every day, that everything is okay, that I'm doing okay. Some mornings I would say something like, let's wait and see, or let's not get ahead of ourselves. But today I say, I want to name the baby Baltimore, Balto for short. Emily walks off smiling, creaking the floorboards, and she goes off to turn off the bathroom faucet. She says, I fucking hate that. She packs her big knife and gets ready to leave for the day. I don't know what falling in love is. I don't know what staying in love is. After 10 years of marriage, I am still not sure about my footing about fucking anything. I keep my strange sick feelings to myself. I keep my mouth shut and clean. I keep my dreams inside my dreams. There's a strong wind this morning, shaking the one redwood tree still remaining in the city. I ride the train to work commuting with hundreds of other people, everyone mostly with their eyes preoccupied and glazed over. I like looking at the reflections in the train car, watching faces looking through glass as the world passes along on the other side. I am not sure if I love Emily anymore. I am not sure where my life is going, and the train car shakes. It shakes and rattles every morning. I have learned to rattle so deeply in my body. The vibrations have tickled and settled so deeply in my bones. I never have to hold on to the hand railing anymore. Instead of sitting down to figure things out, instead of slowing down and carefully planning my hours and thinking what good I can do for Emily, I let the routine continue. I do the day in, day out. I go to Monday through Friday, mindless and automatic. I work at a nonprofit downtown next to the park. The park is bright green astroturf, ancient marble statues of crouching lions and tigers, all looking ready to pounce. Mossy chain link fences and no trees around for miles. Our mission is about spreading the awareness and improving the well-being of the animals still out there. Stray dogs, stray cows, and a wealth of exotic bird species that have been popping up in urban neighborhoods recently, like, strangely enough, the toucan. Most beautiful things are dead and long gone, but we still have the toucan population. We also monitor zoos and wildlife refuges, solicit donations from the poor and super rich, and fuck around all day, trying to make meaning from nothing, messaging and marketing. It all makes me want to die a little, the spin we do, all the spin. I don't understand how the crow has died off, but you can still find a toucan in the world. I am laid out, limbs flailed out like a star on the office floor, staring deadpan into the dimming ceiling lights. My mind as empty as my stomach. I skip breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I drink cups and cups of coffee. Yeah, it's random, Drew says. She slouches in her chair and squints her eyes at nothing in particular. I remember birds on power lines. I remember birds just chilling in trees. I miss birds and trees and just watching over us from everywhere. The toucan, Drew says. There's still the toucan. Drew points to our mission vision painted along the wall. I say I'm so fucking sick and tired of toucan. The wall behind Drew is covered in toucan merchandise, like hoodies, stickers, and large t-shirts that would never move. I stare into the eyes of the toucan like it knows me, and I start to feel demented. The office is cold because we like saving on the heating bill. Drew is the only other staff member, and I may be falling in love with her. She likes to draw comics in her free time when no one reads comics anymore. I have seen her draw. I think the attraction started with her hands, how they stopped shaking when she put pen to paper. Have you heard of these pop-up zoos, Drew asked? No, they're a big thing right now. They pop up near retail stores and it's like, they're just a single tent. Sometimes there's a super rare animal in there, but that's been recently discovered, Drew says. Like the other day, there was one with a real fox in it. Oh shit, foxes are still around? One at least, she said. But usually these pop-ups are just cows, and they take up a lot of our donations. Drew is the executive director. I am everything else, every other department. I am HR, I am admin, I am payroll, I am operations, I am development. We both dabble in marketing. I say, I would still go see a cow. Me too, she says. Me too. I say, I would have a cow. Don't, she says. I would have a cow. Thanks, y'all. I think that's going to be me for tonight. Appreciate y'all so much.
Richard, that was amazing. Thank you so much for reading tonight. I have for you, spooky Halloween question. Candy corn is obviously a really polarizing candy. I'm not going to ask you about candy corn. I'm going to ask you, what is like another polarizing issue that haunts you? So there's two parts, kind of.
Another polarizing issue that haunts me? Damn, that candy corn one's good. I love all animals, I think, except one animal, and that's the shoebill. Have y'all heard of the shoebill?
Jacob, can we get a link in the chat, please?
I love all animals, but I think the shoebill is incredibly satanic, and I think that's probably my most problematic view is I really dislike the shoebill. I saw a video of it eating a duck once, and it fucked me over for life, I think. But that's my anti-video of it. My most controversial fact is anti-shoebill.
Yeah, okay. I didn't invite you here to get you canceled, but certainly I'll let the guests decide for themselves.
Sure, come at me.
All right, everybody, we have contest time, but first raffle time. This is for the Peach Mag Season 4 yearbook. One more time, I am dropping the link in the chat to the Google form if you want to enter the raffle. This is not part of the contest. You don't have to be wearing a costume or have a spooky background. This is just for people who came. If you want to enter to win a yearbook, please fill out that form now. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, if anyone is wearing a costume, please sound off in the chat now. Okay, looks like we got no costumes. That's fine. That's fine. You know, we're in a pandemic. We don't need costumes. The whole world is spooky. Fuck it. Oh, D, my costume is, I was going to go as Slutty Jacob, but I really couldn't figure out what to do that would be appropriate. So I went for the runner-up, which is the speaker of my poems. I'm wearing a shirt that has my book title on the back that Aiden's little sister made. the devil horns are definitely like a nod to Slutty Jacob, though. I feel like Slutty Jacob would wear devil horns if he were going as a slutty costume. Jacob, what would your slutty costume be?
So Rochelle was gonna go as Slutty Jacob, so I went to Slutty Jacob. Here's what Slutty Jacob it looks like. I'm wearing a robe, first of all. It has the Grinch on it, and it says "Merry Grinchmas." This is my my sluttiest costume.
Okay, Jacob, we have like at least like one 18-year-old here. Okay, keep in mind, this is...
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I'm keeping the robe on.
Yeah.
I also put some tape over my nipples.
Like
That's the other slutty component here.
Scotch tape?
Electrical tape.
Whoa, you went all out.
Yeah, I'll keep that to myself though.
Yeah.
That's just something for me.
Yeah, I feel like you should. I feel like maybe you should win the prize. Wow. Okay. I'll have to think about the ethics of like that if you can win a prize, but fuck it. What are they gonna do? Fire me? All right. If you're participating in this haunted Zoom background, sound off in the chat and just say me so that we can at least call attention to you. We've got prizes. You've got to take the prizes home. Okay, Alexandra, thank you. Caroline, thank you.
Is Richard Richard? Are you at a school? Because that might be haunted.
I'm just leaving my work actually.
Oh, okay. Work is haunted.
Work is haunted.
It's definitely haunted. Haunted voice.
Okay, we have 2 Zoom background participants that might just get like participation prizes. All right, y'all, no big deal. You know, the world is scary enough as it is. Like, we didn't really need to get spooky tonight. Whatever. Who cares? Oh, 3? Who's this the 3rd? Oh, Kat, sweet. In that case, everyone's gonna get a prize. All the haunted background people are gonna get a prize. Oh, and Shelby too? Sweet, that's the 4 prizes.
Nice.
All right, let me drop really quick then. I need you guys to fill out a form so that I can get your information to send you stuff, and we'll be in touch via email. But as far as the raffle goes, well, here's for the prizes for the 4 people who just participated in the Haunted Zoom background hit contest. For the Peach Mag Season 4 yearbook, though, we have participants from just people who showed up. Thanks, guys, for coming out. I know it's like a weird time to be on Zoom. Everyone has Zoom burnout, so we just really appreciate it. It's so fun to host these readings and have the work that's at our website brought to life and just gather around and hang out and have fun over creative stuff. So it's really cool. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it. The whole team really does. Jacob, pick a number 1 through 14. Since you were the only one who dressed in a costume, you can pick.
We're going 12. We're going with 12 here.
Oh, sweet. Anna Karate is the winner of the Peach Mag yearbook. So Anna, I will be in touch with you via email. Hell yeah. I think that's it. Did we say we were gonna do anything else?
Not that I can think of. I also want to say I do have a haunted background. I didn't want to be input in the contest. I'm haunted by an earlier, happier time. This is the IKEA monkey from who knows how long ago.
Right. Wow. Yikes. Why don't we ask our 4 prize winners what their haunted backgrounds are? Do you want to unmute yourself and explain? Any of you?
I don't remember what Hotel Transylvania was about, but my friend was like, do something from a movie, but like the castle from Rocky Horror just looked like any castle. So I had to like have something that said what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Possibly the most 18-year-old thing I've heard today.
I love a costume or like background that explains itself, you know? Like sometimes, you know, just don't want to talk about it. All right, let's hear from another haunted background person. If you want, we'd love to hear from you.
So for mine, I'm not talking over anybody, am I?
No, you're good, Caroline.
Okay. Your question about like what haunted you as a kid, or like what you were afraid of as a kid, or I forget the exact question. But it reminded me that what scared me as a kid was I think there were multiple vampire episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? So.
Are You
That's
Afraid of the
what
Dark was so real.
It was too real.
You remember the one where there was like a swimming pool and like a almost like bloody tissue looking monster? Like it was like as if it was like just like a ghost made of, but in the shape of a just like dripping blood, and it would go down the drain in the swimming pool.
Oh, I do remember that one.
Maybe we could have like an Are You Afraid of the Dark Zoom movie night.
That'd be cool. I'd be down.
That'll be the next speech reading. Anyone else who wants to chime in? I feel like I'm like taking callers. Can we get another caller? Another prize winner who wants to explain their background?
Well, I'm not a prize winner because I didn't enter as a member of Peach Mag staff, but I have a haunted background, which is Arby's curly fries. And it's like extra haunted because I feel like if I move a little bit, the fries like take my head off. So it's like, you know.
What's haunting about the curly fries?
Did you have a bad
Their
experience?
delicious flavor?
I think they're coated in gluten. So they've haunted my bowels.
Right.
Everything about curly fries is haunting. They're fucking gross.
I think Arby's
is cold.
Yeah, Arby's also just has like a haunted vibe.
Yeah, I think it's just Arby's in general, like
Like,
a scary place.
like they're
Wow,
they're,
Arby's
like,
haters
saying-
sound off.
Yeah, like I'm not hating. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. They make like deli sandwiches and like curly fries in a fast food setting. I don't know.
There are no Subway.
There are no Subway. That's you can't see her, but my partner Gray is being subsumed by the Arby's fries.
Have y'all ever seen an Arby's by itself? I feel like Arby's is just in random gas stations and rest stops, and I've never seen a standalone Arby's by itself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a rest stop place. Like when you're going down the 90 and you like need to pee and like get a keychain, you like get Arby's.
It's like parasitic.
Yeah. Okay, one more person. Anyone else? Anyone else? Haunted background? I'm going to drop one more time for the 4 people who we named winners, and for Anna, I'm going to drop, I need your emails in the chat. Fill that out, please.
This is like the scariest scene in The Shining, or like the right before the scariest scene when the little kid, Danny Torrance, goes into room 237 and there's a ghost in the bathtub. You don't see that part.
Yeah, that part was real. Oh my God.
What about the bear guy? Is he spookier?
Did I see another Shining background? Yeah, Shelby has one.
Yes, and it's so funny because I haven't even seen The Shining, and I just was so I didn't even know that yours was also The Shining, which is excellent. But I just Googled film stills like very quickly before this for haunted houses, and this is what came up. And I used to live in Oregon, and this was at Mount Hood. I think it was filmed at the hotel up there, which I've been to. So I've been to that hotel. I've been to where it's filmed, but no, I've not seen the movie.
Oh my.
But yes, that's my background.
Amazing. Aeon, do you want to explain yours?
Yeah, this is, well, you need to read the text. This meme's kind of dead now, but I've had this for a while, and I think, god damn, my chair shows up. Yeah.
Aeon is one of our resident seed editors this year.
Yeah, my background is from like one of the ending episodes from Neon Genesis Evangelion. I had a very low budget Shinji costume, but I forgot that I gained weight during quarantine and I didn't fit in the pants. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this. So yeah, that's my story.
Amazing. All right, anyone else? Anyone else want to geek out over their weird, spooky background before we call it a night?
Does somebody have a scary story that they want to share?
Jacob banished a ghost once. Dead ass.
Yeah, that wasn't very scary though. I
What
just
is that?
told them.
What does that mean? Oh no.
When I was in college, someone, a longtime janitor at the college, died one night. They found him,
Oh fuck.
his body in the morning. He died probably of like a brain aneurysm or something. He died suddenly, and then I was visited by him a number of times, weekly following his death, including the night he died. And I didn't know what to do. So I asked a teacher of mine who was also a spiritual healer as a side hustle, which I kind of lucked out with. And she told me that most ghosts are just here because they're people who die suddenly and don't know that they're dead. So they have to be told, basically, that they're dead. They'll probably be confused. They won't know what's going on. So you have to explain calmly but solidly that they're dead and that they shouldn't be here anymore. That's why they're probably feel confused. They don't feel right. Things seem strange. It's because they need to let go and move on to the next thing. So I did that.
Isn't that the plot? One of the plot points for Casper, that movie?
For what?
I think so. That's awesome. Isn't that one of the plot points for Casper, that movie back in the 90s?
Oh, really? Nice.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's why most ghosts are around. So you just gotta hit him with that info.
Did he have to go through a graduation ceremony?
No, he graduated to I guess to ghost school once I told him he was dead. So that's how I banished him. It wasn't more of a banishing, it was more of a gentle movement.
It was good of you to do that, Jacob.
Yeah, so R.I.P. to Richard Tarbox. He led a long and happy life. He died holding on to a coffee pot. Wow.
My roommate Jason is here with their video turned off, but we think we have a ghost too. We both woke up around the same time in the middle of the night over the weekend, like feeling like panicky, or like at least I did. I woke up feeling like I was like gonna have like a panic attack, like my heart was rushing, and like I kept feeling like I would take these deep breaths, but I like couldn't get enough air. Like there was like something weird going on in the room with the air. And it was cold outside, but I was like very warm. The heat wasn't on too high, I don't think, because it was still like warm over the weekend. And I like had to open my windows. I was like taking off layers. And like every time I would try to fall back asleep, it would be like that like in between state still, when like you're going to sleep and like, but your body's like so relaxed and your breathing slows. And I would like wake up just like feeling like I wasn't getting enough air. Like something was like, Jason.
I mean, that happens to me all the time, but it could be ghosts all the time. So that was the same night. But I never told you that when I first moved in here. I told you like a little bit, but that I like felt a presence and like kind of like went around. I'm not into like thinking that I know about things like rituals. I'm like, not like trying to get into some like witchery or whatever, but like do protective things. So I went around, I found a bunch of the previous owners what do you call those, bobby pins that you stick in your hair? And then I like lit, I don't know what I did. I like went around and was just like talking to her, and I was like, you gotta go. And the next day I was projectile vomiting just out of nowhere, and projectile. But I was like, this is good. Like, this is just like running through my body, and like had like a real sense that there was like some shit going on. And then a bunch of other stuff happened. And then a bunch of people saw ghosts in here. I kind of told you about this, but not really.
Whoa. All right, we got
as people were saying, there's never been like a bad ghost presence, you know.
Yeah. It didn't feel bad over the weekend. It just felt like
yeah,
like
just
wanted attention. Like I got it.
We're in ye old New England, you know. It happens.
I feel like we should let everyone go so that me and my roommate could talk about the ghosts in the house. Y'all, it was so fun just like hanging out and like gathering over like each other's amazing creative writing and just like seeing each other's faces. It's such a weird time. I don't know. Remember to like take care of yourself. It's gonna be a crazy couple of weeks, I think. And yeah, thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. You guys are why we do what we do. So we had a lot of fun tonight, or at least I did. Slutty Jacob.
Thank you, Peach.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, Peach. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Great. Tracy, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, thank you. It was a struggle a couple times. Got a little fast, but I did my best. So
it was perfect. It was really perfect. Anything.
Hope you had fun at your first poetry reading, Stacey.
It was interesting. My main takeaway is that other places in the country don't have Arby's that stand alone like we do in Iowa. So okay. You guys have a great night.
You
too. Yeah, you too.
Thank you. I'll call you in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
All right, sweet.
Bye.
Peach Mag.